To talk about the box office here. Yes, the numbers is a bit raggy right now, but this month continues the June of flops. Apparently, the July movies are projected to do much better, so we'll have at least some successful movies in July and maybe August. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse stands out the solo and still lone blockbuster of June to have made money. Yes, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the sole and only blockbuster. It also reached number one yet again because, unlike the other movies, people actually are coming back to see this movie over and over again as well. And also, I do have a theory that yes, Rotten Tomatoes scores do slightly affect the box office to a certain degree, but I think it's more the marketing, more, what the actors do now. Yeah, that actually matters now. Okay, which if people aren't going to see The Flash, which we can get to The Flash anymore because of what Ezra Miller did last year, yeah, Aquaman's in a lot of trouble for keeping Amber Heard in the movie. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse made $560 million, so it is going to end around the $600-700 million range, like I think it would. Of course, if the movie had the same range as the first Spider-Verse, the movie could have hit $1 billion, but it's not. It's having your typical superhero movie range. If it's having good ratings like the original Spider-Verse, yeah, it makes like $700 million like Top Gun did or something, then yeah, you could definitely talk about, this movie making $1 billion. But no, it's not gonna make $1 billion. It still is a big profit for Sony Entertainment. So props for them for making one of the only profitable movies of June. Next is Elemental. No one cares about this movie. The movie had a small drop, but again, it's a small drop from an awful opening weekend. Okay, no one's watching Elemental. It's not gonna pull Puss in Boots the Last Kiss. Okay, and Puss in Boots the Last Kiss released during the holidays. This movie's not gonna pull Puss in Boots the Last Kiss. It isn't gonna. Okay, this movie's gonna flop. It's gonna lose money for Disney. Of course, it's going to happen to a much better company as well. Okay. But now let's get into The Flash. Okay, the funny thing is this movie's performing exactly like Green Lantern, the old Green Lantern, like I pointed out yesterday. Okay, but no one is watching this movie. They even had the goal to give this movie more feeders. I don't know why they did. I don't know why it has to give more feeders to Spider-Verse and not took away screens from Spider-Verse. But no. Let's give Flash a movie that no one likes. The movie dropped 72%, which we'll probably cover in a separate video later today or tomorrow. But this movie is doing awful. Okay, it's doing abysmally. This is supposed to be like one of the biggest movies of the year and no one's watching it. This movie's performing very similar to the Green Lantern. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The Green Lantern. Okay, of course, if he does it for a phrase, the movie's doing better. But we're just gonna talk about the Green Lantern and Flash. Okay, these movies are doing extremely similar at the box office. So this is awful for DC, awful for Warner Bros. As well. And this is basically this decade's version of the Green Lantern movie. No one likes this movie. No one went to go see it. This movie will do better worldwide, however, than Green Lantern. But is it really worth it, DC, to not cancel this movie and keep Ezra Miller in this movie when they could have released a more valuable movie during this time, like Mission Impossible, the Turtles movie, or the Meg sequel? No. We gotta release this awful Flash movie that no one went to go see. Okay, even a movie like Black Widow was the competitor to yesterday. They always talk about, well, Black Widow did so horribly. It's doing better than Flash. At least you have that for going for Black Widow. At least it made more money than Flash. Okay, you gotta realize, Black Widow, they also released this on Disney Plus, which killed the movie in theaters. Okay, there also was the Delta variant going around, which was awful. Okay, and also movie theaters were starting to recover. They were starting to recover. And also Black Widow was a mediocre movie, which added all into a disaster of a movie, box office wise. Okay, And then we have No Hard Feelings by Sony. No one's going to see this movie. Good luck getting the $110 million this movie needs to make. I know I put a calculator at $112 million, but using $110 million, it doesn't really matter. No one's going to see it. No one's going to see a movie with Jennifer Lawrence in it. Okay, you know, this movie, I didn't even know this movie was coming out. I think most people didn't know. Again, this is actors don't really have star power anymore. So they can't really push these non-franchise movies anymore to try to hegemony the box office. They tried last year, but always it works because they made a movie about Elvis Presley. And people know who Elvis Presley is, so it made money. But they still say, oh, people will watch this. No one did. Simple as that. They have Elemental. Okay? No one went to go see Elemental at the box office. Okay? No Hard Feelings is yet another box office failure. Okay? Then you have Transformers Rise of the Beasts, which this movie is doing horribly. Okay? Again, toy sales are going to save this movie from being an absolute disaster box office wise. But I think the absolute disaster is the underperforming Chinese sales for this movie. This movie has been out for basically 3 weeks, and no one is going to go see it, essentially. It's doing abysmally in Western markets. Okay? It's doing awful in Western markets, doing abysmally down in most Western markets. It hasn't reached in Japan yet. But I don't think Japan's going to save Rise of the Beast. But this movie's doing awful in Western markets, which is also probably a hindrance to this movie's box office potential because no one's going to see it in Western markets. No one's going to see it in the UK. It's doing better in Peru than it's doing in the UK. Okay, it's doing better in Indonesia than it's doing better in France. Okay, the Western markets are big money makers. Okay, places like Indonesia, Brazil, okay, Mexico to a certain extent, aren't really the big markets as Western markets. Okay, sometimes it's No Way Home and Mario, they do well, but outside of Eastern markets and Europe, basically trying to depend your movie on South America and Southeast Asia is not a good idea. But even then, the movies are still doing better in those markets than they typically do, which is good for those feeder, in those countries. But again, Thailand and Philippines and stuff are not really major markets compared to Germany and stuff. So, yeah. Next is Asteroid City. Again, this movie is probably going to lose money if it does horribly internationally. It's a Wes Anderson movie as well. So it's going to perform very similar to most of its movies as well. So, again, $25 million budget. This movie needs to make $46 million to break even. Will it break even? We'll wait and see what happens with this movie. I think it will, which means it'll be the third movie of this month to break even. So yeah, next is the Little Mermaid remake. Again, couldn't happen to a better company. Disney deserves to lose every penny it gets on this garbage, awful movie. Good thing that people are being smart enough and not giving this movie $1 billion. Okay, heck, this movie's not even gonna break even. Okay, this is not even gonna break even at this point. Okay, this movie needs $625 million to break even. Okay, let's say this movie's gonna lose $100 million for Disney. This is an embarrassment. Okay, even if no one's doing really well domestically, it's not doing anything internationally. Even they say, oh, it's gonna make money in Japan. Wait, no one is going to see it in Japan. Only made $10 million. Spider-Verse coming out, Indiana Jones, and all these other movies are gonna be defeating it in Japan. It's probably gonna make about $20 to $30 million in Japan, at most. Okay, it's not gonna do Aladdin numbers. Okay, no one's watching in many of these markets. Again, Thailand and Malaysia and markets like those are actually becoming more important markets like Indonesia. But you can't really rely on those markets. For example, Australia made $10 million in Australia, $40 million in Brazil. Okay, I actually think Brazil and Mexico are actually important markets. They do make a lot of money in those countries. So, I'm sorry for people who live in Mexico and Brazil. They actually are pretty important as well. The same thing of here, Brazil and Mexico. Mexico is an important market. It's usually in the top grossing for international markets. So, yes, Mexico is an important market because it's making a lot of money in Mexico. But I'm talking about stuff like Malaysia and South America. Peru is not a major market. Colombia is not a major market. Even though Colombia has a lot of the same amount of people as Italy, it isn't really an important market, per se. Okay, as Italy. Okay. Mexico and Brazil, yes, I think they are major markets. Okay, I'm sorry. South Korea is a major market as well, obviously. But again, Guardians of the Galaxy just adding to its overall profits of $200 million. The bracketing has thus broken even. Yay. Hooray for Lionsgate. So this movie's gonna make a couple $1,000,000 and that's it. As well. Next is the Boogeyman. Another flop. It's continuing to flop for Disney. Again, Disney made this movie, so again, could happen to a bad company. So Disney, Disney couldn't have the luck like last year, like in 2019, where all the movies made money, but everyone else failed. Disney has to fail too. It's funny that Disney's failing. Next is Past Lives. I don't even have this movie tracked as well. I bet there's no budget for this movie. This is one of those stupid ruined to ride release movies. It's really stupid that they do this kind of stuff. But again, that's what they do with these Oscar movies that no one's gonna watch anyways. So yeah, next is Fast X, and this movie was at $699 earlier, but they adjusted it down to $696 million. But overall, this movie is a box office failure as well. I don't think this movie is gonna make any more money all too much. This movie would be a successful movie if they toned down the budget way more than it needed to be. Okay, if they toned down the budget to like $500 million to just $200 million, not $500 million, just the $200 million, this movie would have been a profitable movie, and no one would be saying this movie would have been a failure. But let's spend $340 million, which means this movie is gonna lose $100 million for Universal. Maybe spend less money on your movie next time. Okay, maybe try to tell your actors, hey, we want to make money, so, and I bet a lot of money for this movie goes into paying, the assemble cast for the movie. Okay. Vin Diesel, all these famous actors, John Cena, Scott Eastwood, all these famous people. But it's a dismal week at the box office. I don't think next week will be any better with Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny coming out. Okay. Transformers, I think that movie is going to probably make around $40 million to $450 million. As well. Flash is going to make $300 million. Elemental, that movie is going to probably make $200 to $250 million, which is awful for Pixar. Okay. As well. Across the Spider-Verse make $600 to $700 million in that range. And Guardians of the Galaxy make $830 to $850 million. And Mario, I think that movie is going to make another $10 million globally. Yes, Mario is still making money globally. Okay. And people say, but no one goes to the, oh yeah, Mario. This movie exists. Okay. And it made $1.3 billion. So Hollywood, you still have the potential to make mega hits. Okay. Any movie that makes $1 billion is a mega hit, essentially. Okay. Mario is a mega hit. Everybody went to go see it, essentially. Okay. The movie is now made $87 million in Japan. Okay. Yeah, Brazil, $26 million. See, Colombia still made only $14 million. Yeah, places like Indonesia only made $5 million in Indonesia. Malaysia, $4 million. Okay. Saudi Arabia made $5 million. A lot of these smaller markets are not really, and Russia isn't really a major market anymore because, of the war in Ukraine. They try not to release movies in Russia anymore. But Russia used to be a big market for Hollywood movies, but not anymore because of Ukraine. Okay. And that's it about this video here. Goodbye.